Check.
Whoa,
1, 2.
Whoa, can I turn this
Paul Reed. He's been balling out.
Yeah. Ready to call him back up.
Jeez.
I mean, he'll be joining the team tomorrow. Along with Isaiah Joe.
Likely to see some minutes from him with the absence of Embiid for the next 2 to 3 weeks. He adds a little bit of size, a little bit of playmaking.
I can give you something. Yeah, I mean, I think Lowry's dead in the water because...
Did we actually start?
I don't know.
Right,
They're
shut
asking
up.
prices ridiculous. And his cap hit is like, what? Almost $20
I
million?
don't think he's leaving. It's more than that.
Like, that's just insane.
I mean, they can make it work if they really want to. Where's my OneNotes? Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Why are you making those noises?
And why are you putting one headphone in?
You want me to put them both in?
Yes, it looks so awkward.
I'm just gonna be fully submerged.
This sounds so satisfying. Yeah, welcome back. It's like the same volume either way. You know? Like,
Yeah, so... Whoa. I'm like fully echoed now.
I'm chilling, bro.
Welcome back.
Alright, welcome back. Alright, thanks
Welcome
for...
Gotta do it.
Alright, welcome...
I'm gonna be all...
Yeah, just give him...
Alright, welcome back to another Sixers podcast episode. Today we got a couple of bangers on. We got Aaron over here, who's Hot Take King.
You know, someone's got to play that role, and I'm just, always able and willing to do so.
Yeah, and we got Daniel over here, who's, I think, one of the newest Sixers diehards, but he's really dug into it this year. And,
I mean...
and he's all in, I think.
Yeah.
He's got to fully embrace it.
Yeah, so we got a lot of Sixers news, especially since before the All-Star break, but...
He's like...
I've got the giggles.
Yeah, so All-Star game, obviously Simmons and Embiid, had to take that trip, get that snip with the barber. Barber test positive. Now contact tracing had them out the first game back, and then Embiid came back, hit the dirt a little bit. Good news, he's only out 2 to 3 weeks, evaluated in 2. So that's about all you can say about that. Thank goodness he didn't tear anything. So.
Seriously, could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
It was scary watching that.
Yeah.
Watching that live.
Yeah, I was holding my breath for sure. Did you guys watch the All-Star game? Or some highlights? Or what?
Watched a good bit of it, yeah. I mean, it was like Team Durant was just treading water, and Team LeBron had their foot on their neck and just waited to press.
I think they were just pressing.
It was over.
Yeah.
Like, you can't splash with Dame and Curry like that.
I think ever since the draft, the Team LeBron was just better. And then Durant didn't have Embiid. So they were struggling.
Yeah, it was disappointing not to see Ben and Embiid in there representing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I called it as soon as I was watching that draft live, and LeBron was just coming away with the best team, clearly.
It was like a mockery.
Durant was on the struggle bus for that one. But yeah, it was entertaining. Giannis won MVP with 35 points, 16 of 16. Thoughts?
When we were watching it, he should have had a miss.
He should have had that, like, 1 or 2. I think the stats got
They cooked
a
him a little bit.
A little cooked.
It was like an alley-oop, right?
Yeah,
that he
like
missed.
threw it. Yeah, he like missed the dunk.
Oh.
It just like get airballed and it went out of bounds, and they just called it
Like a turnover, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
So they can.
So it was like a fake 16 for 16, but thoughts on it?
But yeah, I mean, he shouldn't not do that. Nobody's gonna guard him. I mean, he banked in a couple lucky threes. But other than that, nobody's gonna get in the way. of him in the lane.
Yeah.
No one really wants to do that in a regular season game, much less an all-star game when no one wants to get hurt.
Yeah.
So he just had license to do whatever he wanted.
Watching Giannis is not as entertaining as, like we mentioned, watching Dame and Steph just splash it from half court.
Yeah, Dame and Steph both hit 8 threes. Dame hit, I think, 3 to send off the game, including almost half quarter to win it. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Dame and Steph just chucking. I watched something, I think it was Stephen A. was talking about, or not Stephen A. It was a post game with one of the players, and they just kept saying that LeBron kept telling them to back up even further because they were making too many. So by the time that last shot went off, it was literally like half court, and they were still just draining them. That's what you like to see in an all-star game, just lobs and threes every time.
Yeah, it's so pure, his stroke, even from half court.
It's unfair.
Like if you see just a zoomed in shot of him taking like a normal 3 and a half court, it looks the same.
Yeah.
It's just so smooth.
Yeah, I think Giannis is like the big version of like Chris Paul and like Russell Westbrook, just the tryhards of the All-Star game. Like no one cares. I mean, you had to give him MVP, I guess, because he went 16-16. I would have given it to Dame just because he was more fun to watch and hit like 3 to end it.
He closed it out.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I mean, I guess a flawless game is worth it.
Yeah, in the end, it
just
doesn't
not
really
in-
matter.
Yeah.
Just like the All-Star game doesn't matter much, but some of it was fun to watch.
Yeah, the dunk contest. I was Googling players as they came up. Freaking Cassius Stanley and
Anthony Simons.
Anthony Simons. I don't even know who else. Oh,
yeah.
Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
He's like a thick boy.
The worst dunk from that Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine year would have beaten every single one of their dunks.
The Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon year I don't think will ever be topped.
Yeah, that's an all-time great. But
Yeah.
it's just 10 after 10 after 10. And this one, the judges
They're
were
just getting
like,
like rooks and G League players.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The crop is just not what it used to be.
Yeah, there's no social status for the dunk contest anymore. No one wants to do it. At least the 3-point contest had some stock in it. If Steph Curry's still doing it, it's still cool.
Your boy, Adam, making it almost to the finals.
I don't understand.
Jason
Wait.
Tatum.
Oh.
He didn't even make it past the first round.
Yeah, I don't think
I
I made it
didn't.
past the first round.
I thought he made it faster or further than his teammate
Jalen
did.
Brown.
Yeah.
I think he did, but I don't think they made it to the finals.
Oh.
It was like Mike Conley.
No, it was Mike Conley and Steph.
In the finals.
Was there a round before with just 3?
No, somebody else made it to the final.
Oh.
Forget.
Mike Conley. What was he doing there? Dude doesn't shoot.
I mean, he was
guess he
stroking
does.
those.
He's not really known as a shooter, but he was balling.
I mean, he's shooting like what? Like 42%
40,
this year?
Probably
they
40
say?
something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like every superstar that gets washed. If you can learn how to shoot when you're not like a slasher scorer anymore.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how
He's
you
having
game
a
the
comeback
balls.
year, though.
Yeah.
All-Star, I wouldn't say well-deserved. I would say it was more of a sentimental pick because he didn't make an All-Star game ever in his career. And so I think that's why he got picked.
Wasn't he
but-
picked by the commissioner as a fill-in?
I think so. I think he's the one who picks him. But I think he was just picked because, like, you had to give him one. I don't know.
I mean, it's a shame. He had so many good years with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
He was a monster for a while.
If he wasn't in the Western Conference all those years, he would have made at least 2 All-Star games, I think.
Yeah.
But the guards in the Western Conference have just always been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Dame and Steph were thrilling. The rest of it's just alright. It's an all-star game. No one tries. Paul Reed. Can we talk about Paul Reed for a little bit? During that all-star break, you had this thrilling G League run by the Delaware Bluecoats. Made it to the finals, got crushed because they made like 4 threes. But Paul Reed was popping off, I think averaging 22 and 6 or 8, something like that.
Gosh.
Had a couple 30-point games. He's getting called up soon with our boy Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, I think they'll be for the next game tomorrow.
I'd love to see some Paul Reed minutes. I don't think Isaiah Joe's going to find himself in just with the way Furkan's been playing, but the next time Furk goes cold, chuck him in there. I saw some highlights of the Bluecoats. Isaiah Joe was like chucking him from the logo. He was literally just heaving them. He had a bad first game, and then he made like 8 threes in his next game.
Jeez.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Literally. And he plays, I mean, he plays solid D. He's feisty.
Can't be any worse than Korkmaz.
On the defensive end.
But
Furkan's like one of those guys that thinks he's good at D, so he plays lax. But like Isaiah Joe just like attacks whoever's he's like guarding. He's just not scared.
Yeah, I would like to see him get some more minutes during the second half, but yeah, like you said, Furkan's been playing well. He's been hitting shots, so
if he stays at 40,
Play the hot hand.
he's been 40% the last couple of games. If he stays there, he keeps his spot in the lineup. But it's when he goes cold that just throwing someone else in there to keep him on his toes is not a bad idea.
yeah.
Yeah, so coming back from the All-Star break, it was a couple games, or it might have been during the All-Star break. Blake Griffin bought out from the Pistons for like $15 million. And so he's living his life. He can go wherever he wants. Signs with Brooklyn on a 1-year, $1.2 million contract. Is this contract scary? Go ahead.
Scary?
Yeah, is he scary on the Nets? Does it scare you a little bit?
I don't know. He's more of like a less defensively capable, but more offensively capable DeAndre Jordan. In a way.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't shoot great. I mean, he's trying to transition, but his game was just, he was a physical freak
Yeah.
who could jump out of the gym, and that's just not who he is anymore. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, that's not who the Nets need. They
need defense.
Yeah, they need defense.
Yeah, I feel like he's a signing that they want to get him healthy. So get him healthy, have him come in, play 15 minutes a game maybe. I don't think he takes, I think Jeff Green on the Nets is like a better player by this point. If you watch any Blake this year, he's not good. He's had like 17 surgeries on one knee. He doesn't jump anymore. That's all he was known for. I think his shooting is going to get a little better because he's not on the Pistons hitting step backs from the elbow or trying to hit them. So he'll get these open threes that pretty much any Nets player is getting because they have the best three players in all of basketball. So I think his shooting is going to get a little bit better, but I think he's just another role player. I'm not scared by it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting blown out of proportion just because he's a big name, but he's not who he used to be, so.
Yeah, NBA Twitter's having a field day with it because they don't watch basketball, so they don't know he's been terrible, but he's really not. He's just not good. Maybe if he gets... I can't even say if he gets healthy again because I don't think healthy is even a good Blake Griffin anymore. I don't think he can jump anymore. Like, he hasn't dunked in... I don't think he's dunked this season, which I saw a stat, which was crazy. Like, he just doesn't have it anymore. And he just shoots, basically. And can play a little bit of small ball center, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just have 5 more fouls to throw at Joel Embiid when the playoffs come, or Giannis. So I wouldn't say it was scary. I would agree. I think it's getting a little blown out of proportion.
No. I mean, you're taking an already scary team.
Yeah, I mean, the Nets are scary enough.
Monumentally better.
The Nets, in my mind, are already the clear-cut just favorites to win it all. So, I mean, it's not a scary contract, but anything that goes to the Nets is scary because their team's already insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Blake to the Nets. Nets getting a little more depth, I guess you could say. He's going to be coming off the bench for sure. So one thing I'd like to see the Sixers do, I don't know if it'll necessarily make their team better, what they do. I think Danny Green is just too old. He's not even playing that bad. He's shooting better than he did last year. He's actually playing decent defense. When he had to guard Zach LaVine against the Bulls, he was doing all right. He was hanging in there, but he doesn't create anything. The best he has is a floater that goes in 30% of the time, or he can float it to Dwight Howard. But
for his pull-ups.
His
at the
pull-up
beginning of the
threes
season.
for, heat check 2-for-1s. I don't know where that came from, but I'd like to see Danny Green. Danny Green, if any trade on the Sixers happens, it's Danny Green's gone. So Danny Green, obviously, you put in a trade. Would you trade Matisse at this point, or have you seen enough from him to keep him? And what would you trade him for? What's that line?
I'm really on the not trade Matisse train, especially after these last 2 games. He's played really well.
Hitting shots.
He is hitting his shots, and he's just insane on the defensive end. And if they're going up against a team like Brooklyn, you're going to need that. You're going to need that extra lockdown defender. So I'm on the not trade him team.
What about you?
I'm thinking along those same lines of that scenario of, okay, you're going to have Simmons on Durant, and that because he's
Or
not
Simmons
going to
on Harden. Either one.
Yeah.
One of them's going to get ISO ball that's
Yeah.
on like Toby or something.
So someone's going to have to try to guard Kyrie,
Yeah.
which would be his purpose. But I'm still of the mindset that I want to sell high.
Yeah.
Because his stock has just wavered so much this season, and I think now as we're approaching, when's the trade deadline?
March 25th.
Yeah, like his value's peaking
It's
at the right
high.
time, and the unrest in Washington. I mean, the last 10 games have been playing a lot better, but I think when push comes to shove, see what you can do. I don't think you're going to be able to get Beal at this point. I don't even think you're going to be able to get Zach LaVine at this point, which those were my two coveted players. But
Yeah.
PJ Tucker is literally screaming to get out of Houston.
Yeah. I mean, report came out yesterday, I think, that he's just sitting games. He's just a healthy scratch. He's not playing anymore until he's traded to a contender. So he's clearly out of there. The question is where.
You wouldn't want to trade a guy like Matisse.
Oh, no. PJ is a guy you get for another expiring contract and a third-round pick or something. No, he doesn't need value, but, I mean, he's better than, like, I don't know, a Blake Griffin. Like, he's a little more valuable than that, I think. And I think he was playing his way out of Houston this year, which is why he looked so terrible. I think he still has stuff in him. But, yeah, my viewpoint on Tease is, if you're the Sixers, your mind right now is you're threatened by, in the East, maybe two teams. If you think the Bucks are a threat, I think the Sixers have always had a really good look against the Bucks and just the way they're built, kind of. I think they were a little bit better last year with size, but I think they still beat them this year. So I'm not scared of the Bucks. If I'm the Sixers, I'm terrified of the Nets.
Yeah.
Matisse gives you that guy to throw at Irving. And I think with what he's done so far, I mean, he's silenced everyone he's gone against. Zach LaVine had nothing against him, and he's averaging 29. And so if you throw Matisse at Kyrie, if you still have him, and you put Ben on Harden and you let Durant kind of just play his ISO ball, that's the best look at beating the Nets. I don't think any other team has a guy like, or a trio like Matisse, Ben, and Joel on defense. So I think to stop that team, you need that. And if he hits threes, which he was doing last night, he's been doing a little bit more recently, then he's clearly untradeable. But the question has always been, can he hit shots like that when it matters and consistently?
Yeah. And playoff basketball is a completely different animal.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
he hasn't shown a degree of consistency.
Uh-huh.
And this is his second year?
I think it's his second year. Yeah. I mean, he's clearly working on the threes, but it's consistency. Can you be an average? Well, like, all we're asking for is average, 36%. Can you do that in the playoffs? I don't know if he can. His stock at the beginning of the year was gone. He wasn't even in the lineup. His stock is back to where it was at the end of last year, even higher, I think. Mm-hmm. So if you do trade him, I think there's one name I would realistically want to trade him for. And even this, I think they can probably grab this guy without trading him, is Will Barton, who he's a shot maker. He's a shot hitter. He's been shooting 42% from threes, averaging 15 on a good team, the Nuggets, who are, I think, only bad in the West because they've been hit by injuries, and Michael Porter Jr. got the COVID twice and was out for 21 days and stuff. So Nuggets have been shopping Will Barton a little bit. I like the look of him. You might be able to get him without sending Tease, but if you do, I think I would probably do it. If you're looking to win now, that's like one of the only names I see. As we talk about Sixers rumors, another guy is Gary Harris from the Nuggets as well. He just plays defense. He's kind of like Matisse, but he's older. I definitely wouldn't give up Tease if you can get him in general. He's just not hitting shots this year. If you've looked at his stats, he's not. He usually can, but he's not. He plays good defense and can sometimes create a shot. So I don't know. Would you trade him for a guy like Will Barton, or you still? Is that too much?
Unless you can get a Bradley Beal, I'm really hesitant to do that because he's got a lot of potential, and from the state of his game right now, there could be so much more to see.
Yeah. Then let me flip that question a little bit. I think this is an easy question to answer. If you can get a guy like Will Barton for a second, Danny Green and Maxey, do you do it?
Yeah, I would think about it. The problem is you just don't want to be losing players, like going 2 for 1, because they already don't have their bench has looked bad, has looked poor at times this season. I mean, Maxey hasn't been offering much anyway, so I'd be fine with that. But I'm worried about doing too many, like trading 2, getting 1 players. But their bench definitely needs a lift. Where they can get that from.
Which helps. So Will Barton he's not a too expensive guy. He's making a little bit less than Danny Green. If you also say you ship the Mike Scott contract, who's still somehow making $5-some million. If you ship the expiring Mike Scott, the expiring Danny Green, a Maxey, which is 3, you get back a Will Barton, and you get back, I don't know, one of the role players to make contracts work out, or you don't ship Maxey and you just throw a pick in there instead. But I think the Nuggets are contending, so I don't know if they want picks. Anyway, then you have a little money to work with, and then the buyout market comes, and that's where you maybe try to solidify your bench a little bit more. I don't know the big buyout names out there. I don't know if you guys have any names, but who's like your ideal guy you want the Sixers to acquire? I think right now they need ball handling, second-hand ball handling on that bench. I mean, Shake, he's good at it. He's not. I don't know. He's really inconsistent. I don't know if I trust him enough. Seth can do it a little bit, but still, I want kind of that pure second point guard. Do you guys have any dream players in mind?
Yeah, I like a guy like DeLon Wright from the Pistons.
That's your fantasy boy, right?
Yeah, he's my fantasy boy. He's been having a good season on a bad Pistons team. Just running their point. I don't know what it would take to get him, or even if the Pistons are looking to sell him, but he would provide a lot of playmaking.
I don't know much about DeLon, right? Is he old or young? I think he's old, right? Do you have any idea? I don't know.
I think he's been around a minute.
I don't think he's that old.
He's probably like 28.
I'll look it up real quick.
I think the Pistons are probably shopping anyone, right? Or like at this point, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Pistons, you've got nothing to play for.
Yeah. I think the Sixers at this point...
Yeah, he's 28.
A little bit. He's still got... I mean, he's in his prime. So, if Sixers Nets right now, we're just kind of, for sake of argument, just saying it's Sixers Nets in the East. It could very well be other teams. The Bucks have Drew Holiday now. They look good, but we don't know. So, and Giannis in the playoffs is always a question mark. If you just say it's Sixers Nets... Nets are obviously the favorites above the Sixers right now. I don't think many people will argue that. If you see the Sixers depart with Danny Green, Mike Scott, maybe Maxey and a couple picks, to win now, to try to compete with this Nets, I think you have to keep Tease. And I think if you get rid of Maxey and you somehow get a Will Barton trade, and I think PJ Tucker might be heading for the buyout market. I don't think there's a lot of buyers for him on his contract. If he gets bought out, and you see the Sixers lose Danny Green, lose Maxey, lose Mike Scott, gain Barton, gain Tucker, and gain maybe a guy like DeLon Wright. Maybe he might be too big a name. He might be a little bit too much. And the Pistons might not be willing to depart with him. But do you think that team has a chance at beating the Nets? And how do you see a team beating the Nets? Like, what's the strategy? I mean, Durant's about to come back. He hasn't even been playing. This team's so good.
Yeah, and you can't just bank on them just shooting cold.
Yeah.
Because even if 2 of them do, then I mean they're all perennial 27-point plus per year scorers.
Yeah.
And Kyrie after his I don't know what you call it, hiatus, whatever.
A little mental health hiatus.
Yeah, it's worked. I mean, That guy is just tearing up the NBA
He's
right now.
incredible.
He looks like his best years in Cleveland. So I just think it has to be the fact that Joel Embiid is just, from what he brings, his size, his speed just needs to be better. And the Nets need to have no answer for him. And that's it's going to take an otherworldly performance.
I think the two scenarios in a Sixers-Nets series are Joel drops 45 a game in the series and the Sixers win, and I think the other scenario is Joel drops 45 a game and they still lose. The Nets can put up, okay, Joel, here's your 50, let me put up 140.
You're not getting the Nets to score less than 115, 120 points a game.
So it'll take a Joel insane run, like the best he's ever played. And I think a Ben Simmons-Tease combination and just kind of have it Durant versus the world or Harden versus the world. And I think there's a chance, especially if they beef up their team, get a little more of the corner shooting and size that PJ Tucker is just better than Mike Scott. It's just true. So if you just slide him in there for the Mike Scott role, maybe give him a little more minutes, it's fine.
And you have to shoot 43s a game. There's no getting around it. 35 to 40.
Yeah. They can't be shooting like 25. Yeah, they need to shoot more.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anything
that's not like a Joel ISO post-up mid-range 3 has to be either a 3 or Ben Simmons does his 20 points a game in the paint. I think the paint has to just be a lot of Simmons and Embiid. I don't want to see any more pump fake drives from Maxey or pump fake drives from Shake or... I just kind of want to see a bunch of chuckers around those two, but I don't know. We'll see.
What I want this to happen.
Sixers.
I want them to actually play. I don't want all this build up to end in like a heartbreak loss to the Celtics or something.
in the first game.
This is all depending on a healthy Ben Simmons, a healthy Embiid, a healthy Tobias Harris. Last year they got swept by the Celtics because Simmons didn't play the whole series. And Tatum dropped to 40 on, I don't even know, Tease's head, I guess.
Tease had a rough series. Yeah, you don't have all three of those for every game. You're done.
You're done.
But you need all three of them, and you need them to be...
at their best.
Yeah, otherworldly.
Yeah. They haven't played the Bucks this year, which is crazy to believe. More than half a season, they haven't played the Bucks, the Sixers.
That's wild.
We haven't even seen that since Drew Holiday came aboard. I think their team their top 3 have gotten better, and then everything below that's gotten worse. So I don't know what to think about the Bucks. I can't even talk about the Bucks. I don't watch them.
Yeah, I don't even think anything of them. Like they don't look special. They just don't.
Yeah,
I mean, Chris Middleton. Yes,
I just don't
ridiculous.
I just don't trust final 2 minutes of a game. I don't trust the mid-range Chris Middleton to lead a team to beat like a team like the Nets. I trust Embiid in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter to beat a team like the Nets. Giannis can't do anything at the end of games.
Nah.
They'll wall it off.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday's a defensive specialist. He has offense, but he's not like that end of game shooter. Chris Middleton, I don't trust to beat the Nets team in the final 2 minutes. I don't. So that's the only thing. That's kind of how I measure a lot of things. Is in the final 2 minutes, do you have the best player on the court or the best offensive player on the court? And I think if you don't, you probably lose. And Embiid versus DeAndre Jordan will be fun to watch. Jordan will foul out within like 20 minutes, and then they'll throw Blake Griffin at him. I don't know.
But for the Nets, who's that person? Durant, probably.
Durant and Kyrie. I think the perfect situation. No, I think the perfect situation happened for Harden. He can be a guy that can drop 25, 12, and 10, and at the end, in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, can just go sit in the corner. That's always been his question. Can he do it in the playoffs, and can he actually make clutch shots? He's shown that he can, but he's also shown that he can't. And I think he doesn't mind sitting in the corner in the fourth quarter and letting the other two go at it. Because I don't think he's always had that clutch gene. I don't think he even wants it. So I think it's either Durant or Kyrie.
You know how the Nets can get even better?
How?
If Drummond doesn't leave the Cavs by the trade deadline and he gets bought out, he could just sign for another cheap contract just to play for that team.
There's so much stuff about it, and it's like, I mean, sure, he rebounds, but I feel like he doesn't. I just don't think he net makes that team better. I don't know. I think he's just big and grabs
Definitely better than
rebounds.
DeAndre Jordan.
I don't know. I think DeAndre Jordan plays defense. I don't
Either
think Jordan
way.
plays defense. I mean, it's scarier than what they have, sure. Yeah, but I don't think it's like that next level. I don't know. I think it's somewhat like a Blake Griffin, maybe better signing. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Just another body to bang. And
Yeah,
Embiid.
Drummond's just been chilling in Cleveland for like 3 years, grabbing 20 rebounds a game and doing nothing else. I don't know.
No, he's been in Detroit for most
Oh, yeah, Detroit. Even worse. So I'm looking at the odds to win the championship right now. And
These are current.
I believe these are current, or these are yesterday's. I don't know.
It's disrespect.
Yeah, it's absolute disrespect.
That's what I was thinking when it was...
Especially from the Clippers. When the Clippers have just done nothing but
current.
collapse in the playoffs.
Yeah, Sixers are currently 6th team odds to win the championship. Above them, Utah Jazz, fine. I think they're playing
Yeah,
pretty well.
playing
That's
hot.
fine. Bucks, I wouldn't have them above. I don't think there's any I mean, you haven't seen them play this season. I think if they play, whoever wins is just going to go above, I think. Clippers, I don't even want to talk about the Clippers. Nets, Lakers are fine. I mean, once the
Yeah,
Lakers
that's a
get
coin
AD
flip.
back. Yeah, those two should definitely be top. And they have the same odds, which makes sense. I think the Sixers, if I'm a bettor, I might go crazy and bet on the Sixers. If they're plus 1,400, if their odds to win the championship are worse than the Clippers and the Bucks,
Oh, yeah.
might as well. I think the team's only going to get better with Daryl Morey. I don't think there's any chance he lets the deadline go by without doing anything. I don't think there's
No.
a chance. He's so trigger happy. Anyway, plus 1,400 Sixers, plus 800 Jazz, 750 Bucks, 525, and then tied at 280, plus 280 for Nets Lakers. Nets Lakers are the clear favorites, I think. I think that checks out. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Jazz?
I mean, we've seen them, twice?
Yep.
Yeah.
Split with the miracle shot from Embiid.
And then the first game, they didn't have Embiid,
Yeah.
and they still almost...
So you
pulled it
can't
out.
really make heads or tails of that. But, I mean, they're just playing really, really well. And someone like Donovan Mitchell is someone who can just ride a high
Yeah.
for a while and play high confidence, because when you're high confidence and your shooting output is as high as his, like, you can make shots, but I don't think it's a sustainable blueprint. I mean, I don't know, because he balled out in the bubble. He was a
Crazy
monster in the
putting
bubble,
up
but
50-point games.
yeah, but we can't really make heads or tails of the bubble because it was just so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Weirdest NBA season.
It
of all
was
time.
just bizarre. So that could just be a ringer. So
You also had TJ Warren averaging like 40 points in the bubble, so I don't think it's as much.
yeah, there's and you hear any NBA player talk about it, and they're like, it seemed like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
like they hated it. So I don't know how much stock you can put into it, but I mean, yeah, someone like him, he'll win during the regular season, but during the playoffs, when coaches have all this time to prepare, and
Yeah.
it usually comes down to one or two shots. I don't really know if they have the legs, especially in that West. I mean, like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
I see them maybe getting to the Western Conference Finals, but that would take a tough series against maybe like the Clippers or the Lakers. So I'm not that scared of them. And I mean, they're playing really well. I'm a fan of them, but even when I saw the Sixers beat them, Gobert couldn't stop Embiid. I think Gobert is overrated. Just a little.
And think about it, the Jazz lost shooting 50% from three.
Yeah, and that's literally, if you ask the Jazz, that's their dream night. If you see them make 21 threes at 50%, you're like, oh, we won that game. That's our perfect team.
Yeah.
No, you still lost, and that's never going to happen again. I mean, it might happen again, but that's not like, you can't bank on that, and you still
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah, they weren't clutch, shooting late. And when they played the Sixers, the Sixers defense locked them down.
Yeah, the thing about the Jazz with me is I think there's always that one team in an NBA season that they look really good in the regular season. They've had the same if the Jazz just haven't changed. They've lost they've lost a couple players, but like they're the same squad. So I think you see them gel really well because they've been playing together for several years, and they go on this run in the regular season. For me, they're not that scary. I think they're better. I think they in the playoffs they can probably beat any other team but the Lakers. Just for me, I think they beat the Clippers. I don't like the Clippers, but if you're the Sixers and you're in the conference finals or you're in the finals and you're looking at the Western Conference Finals and it's Jazz Lakers, you're cheering for the Jazz 100%.
Oh yeah.
You like they're shooting a ridiculous amount of threes and hitting them at a ridiculous clip. The point differential doesn't lie. They have the highest point differential in the league. They're kind of blowing out teams and good teams sometimes. But to me, it's like, again, I go back to in the final 2 minutes of the fourth, do you have the best player on the court? And I don't think Donovan Mitchell, especially against a Ben Simmons, who destroyed him, I don't think he's that guy. I mean, he's shown he can do it a little bit in the bubble, but again, the bubble is crazy. I don't know if I trust him to be hitting shots in the final couple minutes of a quarter. And then who else do you have? Jordan Clarkson? No. He's like
the journeyman.
He's like a Lou Will. It's like I feel like he'll disappear in the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know. The Jazz are really good. I can't really take anything away from them. They have the highest plus minus. They're winning a lot. They have a good team, but if you just ask me, I'm not betting on them because I don't trust Donovan Mitchell to be that guy, and I don't think Gobert is actually as good as he looks. Especially against, I think he's good against like 90% of centers in the league, but once you get to Jokic destroyed him. He dropped 50 on his head earlier this season, and then Embiid. And probably like Vooch. Those three guys can probably carve.
AD?
Yeah, AD. Yeah. I don't know. Jazz are good, but I wouldn't trust them. Sixers have, I believe, one of the hardest upcoming schedules in the second half of the season. Or it's at least mid-pack. So, I mean, at least they're not like the Spurs who are about to get crunched by an insanely hard schedule. The Spurs are about to be like the last seed in the Western Conference, but it's not going to be an easy schedule.
And Aldridge is done.
Oh yeah, Aldridge is out.
He's sitting.
Yeah, that's another one. Aldridge, where does he go? He's out. He's gone. Celtics.
What is he anymore? Though
he's like a solid. He's a solid
like
center.
15 and 10.
Yeah, 15 and 10.
Can't shoot.
I think no, he can shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like
I think he's like. I think if
Baseline.
Vooch is an A, I think he's a C grade Vucevic. I think that's kind of his player comp. So I've heard a lot of Celtics buzz around Aldridge. Also with Drummond, I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. The Celtics can have whoever they want.
I'm not scared of the Celtics anymore because we don't have Brett Brown. I trust Doc Rivers to not get daddied by Brad Stevens. So anyway, they have a difficult schedule. They haven't played the Bucks yet, so they'll play them a couple times. Well, they'll play them 4 times actually, right? I think they play 4. So.
Sorry, I'm just looking up Aldridge.
No, you're good. A lot of Bucks. They get the Nets 2 more times, I believe. So it's not going to be
the Clippers twice.
Oh yeah, they'll get the Clippers twice, the Lakers once. So it's not going to be a walk in the park schedule. I think they would have liked a couple more wins to stay at that first seed, but they're going to have to keep going a little bit. And now they don't have Embiid next 2-3 weeks. So you could look at dropping a couple seeds and playing a team like, if they're third, you might look at playing the Celtics or the Heat, a team like that, which it's a little scary, but I think the Sixers team is way better than they've ever been. Maybe that Jimmy Butler team was better. I don't know. And they were 1 shot away from finals, so.
Yeah, I mean, Aldridge, 14 points, 5 rebounds a game, and 36% from 3. So.
Yeah, I mean.
He's also been probably tanking a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably like hard in playing his way out of the.
But I mean, this is not like he used to be like 23 and 10.
Yeah,
so he's clearly
getting
on the
old.
down. He's old and Celtics can have him. Whoever.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting next 3 weeks for sure.
Yeah, hoping
I want to see. Oh, well, yeah, of course. Prayers up for Embiid, but I want to see what they do without him. I mean, do you keep playing the Tony Bradley sightings? Do you just let Dwight go for 30 minutes a game? Do you play some small ball with some Mike Scott center, some Ben Simmons center?
I like the idea of the small ball because I want Dwight Howard to be fresh. I don't want him.
Yeah, you don't want to burn him out.
Yeah,
At 35 years old.
As much as he infuriates me, he gives you veteran savvy, championship pedigree, and just solid minutes. So I want him to just, if Doc wants to just go Frankenstein monster and just completely experiment with this team for the next 2 weeks.
The thing is, with me, I don't think this Eastern Conference is as widespread as it used to be. Last season, you had Sixers, Bucks, not the Nets, so Celtics, Heat, Pacers were in there. Toronto was actually very good. That was 6 solid teams you had to worry about. I don't think it's I think it's a lot top heavier. I think it's Bucks, Nets, Sixers. I wouldn't include the Celtics. Maybe the Heat do better when they get healthy. I don't think so. So you have 3 teams.
Jimmy Butler's been balling.
Oh my gosh.
Don't get me started, though.
So you have those 3 teams. So if you're the Sixers, do you care about your seed as much as you did in the former years? I don't think so. I think if you drop to 3rd, probably okay with it. You don't want to get below 3, but I think the win column isn't as good as it used to be. I think for them it's either we're going to have to play the Nets at some point if we want to win. Every other team we can't be scared of because that's the team they have their target on. So
yeah,
I don't know if they do something weird in the next 2-3 weeks, drop some games, go to 3rd seed. I don't think it's the biggest deal. I think it's championship or bust for them.
Yeah,
especially if they make another move in the upcoming weeks. All right, so did you look at this screen before? Did you see the next point?
I saw A.
Okay, then you can't. Did you see it?
No. I saw A.
We'll get another one for you. So, a little trivia.
Oh.
A little trivia Saturday.
Don't look at the screen.
Yeah, don't look at the screen. 1993 to 94. NBA MVP. Give me a name.
Looked like he was looking.
I'm not looking at the screen. That's got to be Jordan. It's not Jordan.
No.
Jordan.
Hakeem Olajuwon, the Dream. He had 27, 11, and 3.6 assists, while also averaging 3.7 blocks.
Almost 4
To give you
blocks
perspective, when Rudy Gobert won DPOY, he averaged 2.3 blocks. And Hakeem averaged 3.7, while also putting up 27 and 11.
Wow.
Crazy year. Rockets were 2nd seed at 58 and 24. They didn't win. Another little bonus question, not question, but another little bonus point. He also won Defensive Player of the Year that year. MVP and DPOY in the same year. So Hakeem was balling in 93, 94.
I wonder when the last time that's happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait. Was
what?
Jordan not there? This was...
I think this was post-Jordan, right?
Scottie Pippen was still in Chicago. This must have been post-Jordan.
Not sure.
They were still 55 and 27, the Bulls.
No, Jordan might have. This might have been that gap year. Didn't he win like 90, 91, 92, and then like 95, 96, 97?
Maybe. All right, Daniel.
Either way, Hakeem the Dream.
Did you see that?
I saw Michael Jordan on the thing.
All right, don't look at the screen.
What were you gonna ask?
Another MVP.
Oh,
Don't look.
I'm not.
1984, 1985. Give me a name.
Magic Johnson.
No. It was
Larry Bird.
Yes, the Larry Bird.
Wow.
Shucking up threes in Boston.
He
The C's.
The freaking C's. Yeah, he was chucking. So Hakeem was just balling. 3-point DPOY and MVP, 27, 11, 3.7 blocks. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting second half of the season coming up. Without Embiid, they're going to have to power through. When you get Embiid back, hopefully the team has made a couple moves and you have that team that you can start shaping up for that playoffs and that championship run. We'll come back in probably in a couple weeks, a week or two, to hopefully talk about moves that were made and what our thoughts are. I never answered, but I don't want to see Tease moved at this point. I think you're looking at the Nets, and the only way to beat the Nets is if you get him, if you have him there to guard Kyrie. So I wouldn't move him. Maxey, ship him for a penny and a piece of licorice. I don't care about Maxey. He can be an NBA player in 3 years. I don't care. We're looking at a chip now, so just get him out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple weeks, we'll come back, talk about it again. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah. See you guys in the next one. And remember, if you hear the goat,
You're the goat.
All right, peace out, boys.